You're listening to The Sports Moment,
June 13th, 2024.
part of the Sports Moments and Memories with Kraig Olson podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe so you never miss a sports moment. Sponsored by Pemberton Law and Lake Area Docks and Lifts.
Lake Area Docks and Lifts, more than just docks and lifts. Lake Area Docks and Lifts.
Well, the Minnesota State High School golf season came to an end yesterday, the final day of the 3 state tournaments that were held. Class A at Pebble Creek in Becker, Double A at Ridges at Sand Creek in Jordan, and Triple A at Bunker Hills in Coon Rapids. And we have a lot of local golfers to talk about on the all three of the different levels. And we'll start with Class A, where brothers Mitchell Dewey and Marshall Dewey of the West Central Area boys golf team finished in 8th and 10th place, respectively, at the Class A Boys State Golf Tournament. Mitchell, a senior, had a 2-day total of 152, and Marshall, a sophomore, just one stroke behind him with a 153. Also, freshman Trayton Nelson of Ashby Brandon Evansville wound up in 14th place with a score of 156. Logan Kostelecki of Otter Tail Central was 55th with a 171, and Jackson Swanger of Underwood was 62nd with a 175. I did visit with Kraig Hunter, the head coach of the West Central Area Knights, about his 2 golfers, and we started with senior Mitchell Dewey and talked about his tournament play over the 2-day event in Becker.
Yeah, I think on Tuesday, the first day, I thought he played really well, and Mitchell's a really good putter, and he just couldn't make a putt, like a longer putt. But he made all his 3-footers, which keeps your round going, to save par and stuff. And his biggest strength the first day, I think, is his driver. He's, when he was younger, he was pretty small and really straight. But he like in 8th and 9th grade, he was golfing with number 1 golfers, the guys that were juniors and seniors, so they were a lot longer than him. And he got a little longer last year. And just this spring, he just keeps getting longer and longer. And he got a new driver a few weeks ago, the Callaway Paradigm Smoke, and he was hitting it, 300 to 315 consistently and into the wind 290. So he set himself up, but just couldn't make many birdies the first day, but still, 75 was a good round. And then today he just played so good the first, I think he was even after 13 holes, and then he was 6 over the next 4. So he had a par 5. He kind of got in trouble, and then he had got a triple bogey on a hole where he got in the wrong spot, and then he got another bogey for a 3-putt. Had some really tough pins, and he had a 3-shot cushion. They have 8 medals at state, and he was tied for 7th with another kid, and they were 3 shots ahead of the other kids behind him. And so obviously he was really down, and we tried to get him just to keep playing. And it's just a credit to Mitch, instead of focusing on the tough holes, just shows his character coming back. He birdies the last hole. Just about drives the green. It goes left of the green. He's on hard dirt pan, chipping downhill off dirt. He hits a high flop shot to a foot, and gets a birdie. And then the kids that were 1 stroke ahead of him, they both bogeyed coming in. So he ended up with one kid bogeyed 2 holes. So he ended up in a tie for 8th. So he still got a medal. So it's pretty good character to come back and do that.
Well, that's kind of Mitchell, isn't it? We learned that in basketball, too. He's Mr. Clutch, and you've talked about that multiple times.
Yeah, he is. He's such a competitor. He works so hard at it, and he never gives up. And, it's just, how golf is. It's just that happens sometimes where you're going to get a triple, and, in some of those pins, you're going to 3-putt, and for him just to stay in there and compose himself, and that's something he's really matured at. So just super proud of him.
Now, Mitchell, who is going to go to Concordia to play collegiate golf, talked about his finish to the round that enabled him to earn a medal.
Yeah, I was feeling pretty good going the last stretch. A few things didn't go my way, a couple bad breaks, but staying on the 9th tee, which was my last hole, I started on the back. Just it's pretty gettable. I birdie it the first day, so I just knew a good drive, a good second shot, I could put it up there. So I drove it about green side, nice little flat shot over the bunker and tap in birdie. So.
And Mitchell, how about the golf course itself? How does Pebble Creek lay out for your game?
Yeah, I think it's a great course for how I play. I mean, I was hitting the driver great, especially the first day, so I had a lot of wedges and about 9 iron pitching wedges in. And I put some great swings on some tee shots, too, that I took 3-wood and 5-iron on them. So, yeah, it was set up pretty good, and then making some putts the second day. So, yep, pretty good.
Mitchell's younger brother, Marshall, who is a sophomore, was very close to medaling, wound up in 10th place, and Marshall talked about his performance over the 2 days.
The first 9s for both days were kind of rough, and the second 9s were around even, so I always kind of stayed around. I never really had a double. I kind of just at the end I had a few bad bogeys that should have been pars, but it happens.
And Kraig Hunter says for a sophomore to finish top 10 in a state tournament is pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's just incredible for a sophomore to get top 10 finish. You know, 88 golfers at state. And I mean, both those guys. I mean, like you mentioned earlier, they're so consistent. And to be consistent, you have to have a well-rounded game. Like both of them can do everything. They can hit their driver, their irons. They have just great hands, short game. They're both good putters. But you know, Marshall kind of played like he did all year. Like there was a lot of I think he won 3 tournaments, and the ones he won, like the first one, he started out with like 4 over after 4 and kind of hung in there with 12 pars, and then he birdied the last 3 holes to win, and he's done that a lot. And so on Tuesday, I think he shot a 41 or 42 on the first 9, and he shot even on the back, you know, and just moved up and, you know, shot a 77. And then today his irons were just on. Like he could have maybe even scored better. He had a lot of birdie looks, but you can't really be aggressive on that course the way they had the pins. They had them on little spines and crowns on the green a lot, so you had to be really careful putting. But he played really, really solid today. Just a big string of pars with a few birdies in there, and his irons were just on. You know, gave himself numerous looks, and you know, so really proud of him as well.
So, Marshall, how does this experience at state and the success you had help you for your next 2 years of competitive golf?
I mean, I'll go in a lot more confident. Not that I wasn't going in this week, but I'll know that I can shoot, get top 5, get whatever, and I mean, I'll just be a lot more better prepared, and it'll be fun.
What's your focus going to be this summer as you work on your golf game through the summer months? So where do you feel you need to work and improve?
My irons have been pretty good. It's going to be mainly my short game, 50 yards and in, and then keeping my driver in the fairway.
Do you feel your team, the returners for next year, really have an opportunity to challenge for a spot in the state tournament as a team?
I sure think so. Sam Hansen and Ben Bai should be really good by next year, and we'll just need to find that 4th golfer to solidify our spot.
Of course, the closeness in age between the brothers could probably lend itself to some competitiveness out there on the golf course. I asked Mitchell about the competition between he and Marshall.
Oh, yeah, very competitive. I mean, I think we just push each other. You know, I mean, we're just golfing every day with each other, and yeah, it's awesome. I mean, even in some meets, we just go back and forth, and just, I think just great competition there, but pushing each other to get better, and rooting for each other as well, though.
And Marshall says that going up against Mitchell was always a challenge for him, and it kind of gave him someone to shoot for because he always knew that Mitchell would be near the top.
He's always, in our conference meet, he's always the top of the leaderboard, so I usually just try to, if I can beat him, I'll sit pretty good, so he makes me a lot better.
Well, Coach Hunter has announced his retirement from teaching and coaching in the West Central Area School District. They'll certainly miss him. He made quite an impact on a number of kids and families throughout the years in the community. And we congratulated Coach Hunter on his success as a teacher and a coach and wished him well in retirement.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Like I was talking earlier, all the years have been fun. Going to state's fun, but it's been just a great career. A lot of fun teams and a lot of, I'm lucky I got to coach a lot of great guys, and they're still great guys. I run into a lot of them, and just we have, great relationships, and you get really close to those guys, and I care about all those guys, and now they have families and stuff, and it's fun to see them all doing so well. And yeah, and it was a good golf too. We won 2 conference championships this year. We were in 2 conferences, and it's disappointing our team didn't make it. I really wanted for those kids that hadn't been there, because we were ranked number 3 pretty much all year, and Park Christian was 5, and they just beat us by a little bit on section. They just played a little better, but still it was fun. Like I told the guys, they were really well respected wherever they went, and I was proud of all of our teams too that they represented themselves in the community really well, and I have no regrets. It's been a lot of fun to look back on. I just look at it. I told my wife, she's kind of sad going to these graduations and knowing we're not going to be doing that again. But it's like they say, I look at it as more of a celebration and something you're going to mourn. It's so many good memories.
Mitchell Dewey talks about how Coach Hunter influenced him.
He's a great coach, and he always gets us prepared. I know that's one thing that I just love about him is that, going into whether it's basketball or even golf, I know this week with the pin placements and stuff, just getting us prepared and dialed in on that. And yeah, he just expects so much out of us, which just makes us better players. And yeah, it's been awesome having him as my coach for this career. And yeah, he just made us he just made us better.
And Marshall Dewey was also impacted by the guidance provided by Coach Hunter.
He's always just getting after us, and he wants us to succeed as much as possible. And he always gets us prepared, and we never go into like a hole or a game unprepared and not knowing what's going to happen. He always is ahead of that, and it just makes our spot easier to do.
Well, it was a great tournament for the West Central area guys, and with the top 10 finishes for the brothers Dewey was outstanding. Now, the winning team was Fertile Beltrami. They won for a 3rd time in the last 4 years, and Park Christian, the Section 6A champion, wound up in 4th place. Now, the Class A Girls State Golf Tournament had to finish with 2 fewer holes being played than the boys. They got rained out of the last couple of holes, so they only had 34 holes in over the 2 days at Pebble Creek Golf Course. Fillmore Central and Dawson Boyd shared the team title, and 3rd place went to the Park Christian Falcons, the champions in Section 6A. Border West golfers Paige Beyer and Aspen Beyer finished 3rd and 10th, respectively. Paige shot a 153. She had been the first-round leader, and Aspen shot a 2-day total of 158. West Central area 7th grader Miley Dewey came in 21st with a score of 171, while junior Macy Gross of the Knights ended up 36th with a 180. Ayla Larson of Alexandria Community Christian was 42nd with a 185. And speaking of Alexandria, in Class 3A, the Alexandria girls golf team finished in 4th place in the state competition. Congratulations to the Cardinals on that finish, and the boys team wound up in 5th place as a team at the Bunker Hills Golf Course in Coon Rapids. Now in Double-A, Hawley senior Jack Justison ended his stellar golfing career with an individual state title. Justison finished with a 2-day, 27-hole total of 105 as weather shortened day 2 in the Class Double-A competition. So Justison's total of 105 allowed him to finish 1 stroke ahead of runner-up P.J. Heron of Holy Family Catholic, who recorded a 106. Carter White of Staples Motley took 3rd place at 108. Fergus Falls senior Riley McGovern in his 3rd state tournament finished in 33rd place with a 119. Otter sophomore Quinton Keel, making his state tournament debut, was 40th with a 120, and senior Ryan Nelson in his second state tournament ended up in 63rd place with a 125. The other Section 8-2A individual qualifier, Carter Haluka of United North Central, came in 73rd with a 127. Holy Family Catholic won the team title. Detroit Lakes, the Section 8-2A champion, wound up as the runner-up team. Brock Burhans led Detroit Lakes with a 111. He was 7th overall. And Lawson Justison was 11th for the Lakers. In the girls' competition in Class 2A, the Section 8 champion Lakers were the state champions. The margin of victory was 13 strokes in the rain-shortened 27-hole championship competition. Holly golfers Sophie Cook and Ivy Tickle finished 4th and 27th, respectively. Sophie with a 116 and Ivy with a 127. Anna Ekman of Park Rapids area took 9th place with a 119. Senior Annika Jerkis of Fergus Falls was 13th. Annika shot a two-day total of 121, including a 38 in the 9 holes played in round 2, while junior Annie Mayer of the Otters came in 52nd with a 137. Detroit Lakes was led by Tatum Gathridge in 13th place with a 121, and J.C. Sliper was 18th with a 122. So that's the recap of the girls and boys state golf tournaments over the last 2 days. And now it's just the baseball that is left, the state baseball tournament. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But before we do, I want to talk to you first about our sponsors. And the Pemberton Law Firm serves you from 4 different locations with offices in Fergus Falls and in Wadena and also in Detroit Lakes and Alexandria. And Pemberton Law is also available online at pemlaw.com. They carry a legacy of trustworthy and reputable legal representation dating back to 1883. Lake Area Docks and Lifts offers premium waterfront equipment sales, service, and installation. Best quality and service at the best prices. Just ask your neighbor at the lake about Lake Area Docks and Lifts.
Lake Area Docks and Lifts, more than just docks and lifts. Lake Area Docks and Lifts.
Well, as I mentioned, the state baseball tournament will get underway today in St. Cloud. The Class A and AA competition will be held at Joe Faber Field and Dick Putz Field in St. Cloud. The Perham Yellow Jackets are 22-2, and they head into the AA tournament as the number 3 seed in that tournament. And in Class A, the Parker's Prairie Panthers are going to be the number 2 seed in that tournament, and they'll play today also at Joe Faber Field. And New York Mills is seeded number 5 in the Class A tournament. So those 3 area teams competing at state will have first-round results to talk about tomorrow when we get together on the final podcast of this run, by the way, is tomorrow. And it's been a very enjoyable 6 months, updating you daily and doing the feature podcasts. We invite you to tune into the Otter Hockey History podcast. Part 3 is going up this week, and then one more segment, Part 4 on the Mike Donahue years, the last 20 years of Otter boys hockey, will be posted in the next week to 10 days. So check that out as well as the other feature podcasts that we have done. You can go to YouTube and find those. The feature podcasts include video along with audio. And then our daily podcasts have been daily updates on the local and regional and national sports scene through your whatever you use to access your podcast. So we appreciate you tuning in over the last 6 months, and we'll take the summer off and see what happens this fall. Well, the Twins are heating up. Yeah, they won 17-9 yesterday. They banged out 24 hits in that victory. That's the most hits they have had since they established the single-game club record with 28 hits on June 13th, 2017. So it was almost 7 years to the day between those big numbers of hits. Willie Castro and Royce Lewis homered. Carlos Correa had a career-high best 5 hits for the Twins as they jumped out to an early lead and never looked back. Lewis, one of 5 Twins with 3 or more hits, went 3 for 5 and scored 3 times. Carlos Santana started the onslaught with a 3-run bases-loaded double in the first inning and then added an RBI single in the 7-run 8th. Pablo Lopez is now 6-6. He picked up just his second win in his last 6 starts. And now the Twins, who have won 11 of their last 15 series as they beat the Rockies 2 out of 3 to start this 10-game homestand, will welcome the Oakland A's for 4 games this weekend starting tonight. Joe Ryan will look for his 5th win as he pitches in the opener of that 4-game series. Right-hander Luis Medina will pitch for the Athletics. The Twins are 8 games behind Cleveland in the American League Central. They're only 2.5 back of second-place Kansas City, and the Twins are now 36-32 on the season. The Boston Celtics won Game 3 of the NBA Championship Series, 106-99 over the Dallas Mavericks last night. And the Celtics have a commanding 3-0 lead. They can wrap up the series with a win in Dallas on Friday night. And the Florida Panthers look to go up 3-0 on the Edmonton Oilers when they hit the ice in Edmonton tonight for Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals. That is a 7 o'clock face-off. The Panthers won the first 2 games on their home ice. And last night, a sold-out ceremony, more than 60,000 fans at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, as they watched Tom Brady be inducted into the New England Patriots Hall of Fame. Owner Robert Kraft announcing that Brady's jersey, number 12, will never be worn again in New England. In addition, Kraft said a statue of Brady measuring 12 feet tall will be unveiled during the 2024 season, and that's something the franchise has never done before. Brady's 20 years with the franchise, from 2000 through 2019, produced 6 Super Bowl championships, 17 AFC East titles, and then he went on to Tampa Bay and won another Super Bowl in his final 3 years. More than 100 of his teammates and former coaches attended the Hall of Fame ceremony, including Bill Belichick. That marked the first time Belichick was back at Gillette Stadium since he and the Patriots parted ways in January after 24 seasons. Well, thanks for joining us for the podcast today. One more time, we'll do it tomorrow. Be sure to check it back in for that. And in the meantime, have a great day.
You've been listening to The Sports Moment with Kraig Olson. Sponsored by Pemberton Law and Lake Area Docks and Lifts. Produced by Sunroom Lab. Music by Blue Red Roses. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast, and thanks for listening.